That's annoying.
The whole time there's just a clicking.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah. That's what. What?
That's pretty loud.
I'm gonna mess this up.
Books and Friends.
Megan, because Megan uses this Kindle also, and she has a book open.
Jesus Christ.
Oh no, she's gonna be so mad.
What? You lost her page?
I lost her page.
I don't know how to stop this from clicking. Put it in a cabinet or something.
No, the page is gone. I can't fix it.
What book was she reading?
She's reading A Court of Silver Flames. It's a series, and she didn't realize that because it's tied to my Amazon, she can just press buy and it'll just buy the book.
Yeah.
So she brings me the thing every time. And I'm like, listen, you're reading books, just
Go ahead and
buy
buy
it. I don't care. It's like $8.
Yeah.
You know.
The problem is I got a Thrift Books account, and every book on there is like $5. So that's how I filled most of the shelf up, is like $8. Yeah, get one free. Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, it's good. That's where I got this one from.
I just end up going on Amazon.
Yeah, I'll compare to see which is cheaper.
I gotta do that.
Yeah.
I usually buy like collections. I'm like,
Yeah,
I want to
so-
read it, so I'm gonna buy all 4.
Yeah, there's one collection I read. It was called like the Murderbot series. I don't
Okay.
know if you've heard of that. It's more of like a modern sci-fi collection.
Interesting.
And yeah, it's like 4 books long, but each book individually is $20, and it's like a novelette,
Huh.
like barely 100 pages probably,
Huh.
maybe a little over.
Who's it by?
I don't remember it's a woman. I don't remember her name.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm sitting
It's
on
pretty
a
good.
lot of. I have a collection of what's his face? H.P. Lovecraft short stories.
Yeah,
Like I'll get to that.
I
got these.
Yeah, I have one H.P. Lovecraft book. It's about like how to write horror and like the history of horror.
Yeah.
And I just started it. I didn't get into it very far. He just writes like he's from the 1920s, you know?
Yeah.
Because he kind of is or whatever.
Well, he's a goofy guy. He's like the hardest core racist.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. As is correct. As would be. Yeah. But I don't know. Oh, he was published by this really small publisher in Wisconsin, like Arkham Publishing House or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like one of the only people I know that they publish that's been big.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it's like I see you got Dune on your shelf.
Yeah.
You know, Dune was originally published by a car manufacturer. There's a car manual publisher.
Really?
That's what they did. They were the only people that would take Dune.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. That's fun.
Yeah. I'm reading right now Working by Studs Terkel. I have it over there so I can cheat.
Oh, nice.
It's pretty good. It's about like 1974. He recorded a bunch of people about their jobs.
Huh.
And then like transcribed all of it. And so it's like a reporting, it's like a weird format of a book, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like slice of life, but like actually people's lives.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Which it's similar to this book because it's like 8 stories, or less than 8, but 8 stories that are all kind of put together.
No.
Which is cool.
Do they tie in at all? Are they related? Or,
no. It's a lot of them are from the Chicago area, but some are from New York and some are from California.
It's like cities.
Yeah, but you'll have a stockbroker and you'll have a prostitute and you'll have a school teacher but he like organizes them by discipline.
Interesting.
And right now I'm in the section that's talking about people who are retiring and people who are just getting into the workforce. So he does very little of his own exposition.
Yeah.
It's like maybe a question just to give context to what somebody says, but yeah, it's very cool.
It's like interview. That's like there's a YouTube channel that's kind of like that soft white underbelly. You seen those?
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting when people go and find real people and try to talk to them.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, we can get more into the book. Are you excited for Starfield's coming out this weekend, right?
Yeah. I'm excited for it, but I can't play it.
Why?
Because I don't have an Xbox.
Oh.
My PC isn't that good.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Is it just for Xbox coming out right now? Yeah. I just thought it was coming out. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, well, it's because it's Bethesda, and then Microsoft bought Bethesda.
Oh,
They
of
did one of
course.
those, like 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I had a hankering to play Outer Worlds recently, and so I turned it on. I was like, what's going on? It's like too overwhelming, and then when you kind of figure out what's going on, it was just too clunky to like... And I think I already beat it, so I loaded up the older save. Because I started it in Legendary Hardcore mode or whatever.
Yeah.
And the first enemy I saw, I died and started way back at the beginning of the tutorial, and I was like, no.
It's not worth it. It's
Not
a
worth
time
it.
investment.
Yeah.
I just wasted it.
Yeah.
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 I hear you.
All right, so Dan Simmons, Hyperion. What did you think about it?
I really liked it. I thought at first reading, because of course it's it's all the short stories. I thought I was going to be attached to one of them more so than the other one. But after every short story, by the end of it, I was engaged with each one, and then also, okay, why are they going on this journey? You know, where at first it was, okay, they're going on a journey, cool. Like, I understand that sets the backdrop of the stories, but the Lenar, whatever, Hoyt.
Yeah.
The very first story, I was like, this is wild. What is going on here the entire time?
They have a list of the characters on the very, very first page.
Oh,
which I was
nice.
going to make this exact list, but then I saw it was they're perfect. But yeah, I thought that the father, Lenar Hoyt, I thought it was a good story. I was like, this is such a long story. The whole book is going to be this guy, because I had no prior expectation of what the book was going to be. I didn't know if it was just going to be his journal all the way through. And when it started, I was like, oh, a journal, what are we... But then by the end, I was totally hooked.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
So that's the same thing, because on here it tells you how many minutes are left in the chapter.
Yeah.
But each chapter is a story.
Yeah.
So every chapter is an hour and a half.
There you go. Did you find them all to be about the same size?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when I was reading, I thought that one was just longer, but I think it took me a second to kind of get into it.
Yeah, the pacing, once you get used to what's going on, I think they are all about the same, about an hour and a half. Let's see, because I can go to the table of contents.
Sure.
I figure out how this thing works.
And that's Super Kindle. That's nice. I used to always read on a Kindle, but I kept breaking them. Because I'd just throw them in my bag, and then at some point something would eventually it would fall out of the case, I wouldn't put it back in, and then it would just not work.
Well, it's because it's like a good book, you wear the spine down. And,
Yeah, or you buy it used, it's like a used,
it's worn,
clothing.
it's ready for you. It's already
It's been
broken.
warmed up, it's already got mold inside of it.
Yeah, I think they are
Roughly the same. It's going to be hard if it doesn't just, don't worry about it.
I'm not gonna fiddle with
But
this
yeah,
thing.
I think we can just talk about the ending too and all that stuff. I don't see
yeah.
why not. Yeah. I really wanted the Starship Captain's story.
Right.
And so I hope that maybe the second book or something has that detail.
Or who he is, not just who he is,
Yeah.
but is he the figure they saw
Yeah.
heading towards the temple?
Yeah.
Is he dead?
It gives you shivers because you see the guy crawling over the top of the dune.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the detective story was probably my favorite. Just because I'm into kind of sci-fi detective stories. Before I read this, I read Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep?
Okay.
Literally right before. So it was a perfect primer.
You're like, I know this story.
Yeah. Which I think it's funny how many people probably say like Blade Runner's their favorite movie but haven't tried to read the book. Which Philip K. Dick... Yeah, or know it's a book.
Yeah.
Philip K. Dick is, an acquired taste, I would say. But the book's good. And it's weird because the beginning's different, but the end is the same as the movie.
Interesting.
Yeah. Like in the book, it starts off, he's married, and he has this electric sheep that they pretend is real for all their neighbors. But Earth is mostly abandoned because everybody's already gone to Mars.
Okay.
And so it's like this weird, world where there's not so many people as are like in the movie.
No big city.
Yeah, he's not alone. He's living with his wife who annoys him, and then he runs away with the android girl in the end.
Oh, okay.
You know what he kind of does in the movie
Yeah.
or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, the in the office, that woman,
Yeah.
and then
that lady. Crazy. But I thought, the priest story was good. The soldier story was good, but I was...
Well, the soldier story was, what the fuck?
Yeah,
the soldier story was, what are you thinking?
It was very... he really got nice and sexual in that one, which also the detective one was as well. But he kind of, I think, took like different types of stories almost that would represent each of the different type of people. Like the detective's background was a little detective story.
Right.
And the priest story was... like a lot of the Jesuit missionaries have journals that they kept, and that's like what tells about what like Michigan is and the different rivers and the tribes or whatever. So that was very priestly writing.
Right.
The soldier one, it's like there's a lot of Vietnam and World War II books written by soldiers about going out on the field, and it's all gritty and everybody's masturbating, and you see the enemy and everybody's killing each other, and there's obviously a lot of like shit that goes down there. And then the scholar one, I felt like that. I don't know if that's a lot of... I don't know a lot of scholarly writing. But it was sad.
That was a sad story. That and the poet. I think Martin Silanus might actually be my favorite character in the book.
He was very cool.
He's just so bizarre.
I know, because he's like this weird old soul that's been... He like should have been dead 200 years ago, but they keep like extending him out and
kicking around, and
he's just some rich guy who doesn't die.
Yeah, he's got nothing better to do. He's got to write his cantos.
Yeah.
Get it out to the world.
The cantos, yeah. I like that the poet. I like that they like put in a thing like, if you extend your life past a certain amount, you go crazy. And he's like, I'm 250 years old.
He's like, the fuck you mean crazy?
Yeah.
Downs a bottle of scotch.
Exactly. Just a lot of drinking. It was very classic. I think this book was like, what was it, 87?
89, I think. I think it was 89.
89, you're right.
90, the sequel came out, so they didn't have to wait that long if you were,
No, that's what it looks like.
Reading it then.
Yeah, that's exciting. The 89, I think, is a good... Because you're transitioning into the 90s, Yeah. Which is like, that's when Pulp Fiction hits is like early 90s, isn't it?
Right. Yeah, it was like 92, I think.
Yeah, and then that shifts everything to be like a whole different tone.
Right.
From what it was in the 80s.
Everything's going to be darker and...
grittier. Yeah, like this was still... There were parts that were still fun.
Right.
And not so crazy.
Yeah.
Which there was crazy and sad and all that other stuff, but yeah, I like that it still had a little bit of goofiness to it.
Yeah.
Like the poet having his crazy house and parties, and it's not that serious.
Yeah, where the door goes into another planet.
Yeah, and you're like, well, the gravity changed through this doorway.
A little heavier now in the kitchen, and then...
Yeah, I thought that was good. Let's think.
So I was gonna ask if you had like topics or something.
No, I figured we could just kind of freeform, and if there's a quiet moment, there's a quiet moment.
Yeah. Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm not too worried. Here's one right here.
Found it right there.
So, did you expect the consul to be the consul to be the traitor? I kind of forgot about that part because it's so separate. It seems from all the other stories. You hear it in the beginning with him, and then you hear it in the ending, and you're like, "Oh, that makes sense. Like he's the one that we've been following, and that was told." And
they set it. He set it up pretty well.
Yeah.
But he also, I think he kind of wants you to forget about it. Because he not necessarily forget, but.
No, it's part of like any good thriller book is like you meet the killer in the first chapter.
Right.
It's the little boy you didn't expect who's been doing all the killing, or it's
you care about
the girlfriend. Yeah, you make them care. Oh, it can't be this person. I've known him the whole book. They wouldn't do that.
Right. But then so I guess that's a question I have is he's a traitor, but is he wrong?
for not wanting them to go through with the strike,
for the
or for pushing forward.
For
He stops them from blowing up the Time Temple.
he initiates it.
He initiates it.
He
yeah.
activates. So what I understand is he activates the Time Temple to summon the Shrike, so that it can
release the Shrike.
To release it, right? Because it can't leave the bubble that it's in. But it seems like the Shrike is there to murder people.
Yeah, that's his one.
And he's like, all right, buddy. Go ahead, have at humanity. But is he wrong? The world they live in. That's why the Remembering Siri, the console story, was so interesting. Was this Maui Covenant getting their Farcaster, and what does that mean?
And what happens when a new civilization comes and interrupts the seeded planet life? That one was a crazy story too.
The planet, the planet, the life on the planet,
and the islands removing creatures, and then they come put a Farcaster portal, and everything dies.
Yeah,
and they,
tourism,
industry building.
Yeah. So
and bring in cars and guns and.
Anything, because it's like that, It's you walk through the door and you're on this planet that it used to take 20 years with the light travel
cryo sleep thing. It's crazy because you hear all these other stories about how everything's so crazy and everything is misaligned and there's so much going on in every single person's world that's not benefiting or going positive or moving forward. Right. And then finally in his story you see, there's peace here.
Right.
And then it just totally flips.
It's like they're tainting, the hegemony taints.
Yeah, what it
touches. And even, the Technocore, you get a little bit of that with Lamia, I don't know how to pronounce any of these names. Lamia Braun's story with how they're trying to stop the John Keats Cybrid from getting to Hyperion.
Yeah.
No, that's not right. We gave you your consciousness and the ability to move about in the physical world, but you can't do it.
And she falls in love with him. Classic. Yeah, no, that was a crazy story. I think the other time I see somebody who's living that sort of pure life is when the priest goes and meets the little forest people that are living and they have their own temple and they're doing their own thing and they seem to have some sort of level of it is a baser existence where it's eating, he's not sure how they reproduce. It's a weird
anything.
Or anything. He doesn't seem to do anything except crawl down into this crack and then go and pray in this weird church that is somewhat reminiscent of a Catholic cathedral or something. And it's is that what the hegemony does to the native population, right? Because I think it was seeded before the artist colony came, or it's kind of unclear. I think about the origins of those tribal.
I think the temple's older. The church.
I would agree. The one that's in the mountain,
right? That is pre. Well, that's the other thing is because a big theme of the book is time.
Yeah.
I mean, you got the time tombs. They move backwards through time. So they came, obviously, if they're moving backwards through time, they came from somewhere further in time. Is it possible this temple is from this same point in time and it's also
those are connected back? Or there's also the labyrinth, which is deeper than the church, and it's that seemed like a crazy big thing to introduce and then never talk
Nobody
about.
Cares about it in the world. It's we know it's there, we can't figure it out.
They're all over the place.
Who cares? We humans didn't build it. We've never met anything but humans, but who cares?
In my mind, it how you can tell the age of things from rock.
Right.
That would be how it would be in my head of the labyrinth, which is kind of connected to the time, the time temple. Mm-hmm. That seems kind of and they're doing archaeology. They're digging down into it, right? So older, and then the church. I'm assuming that those worshippers built it, but who knows, right? Because there's no way to really tell.
Yeah. Well, I think there was a. Oh, see, this is why I brought the physical book because I thought it'd be easier to flip through.
Oh yeah.
I think. In the journals, he mentions that they couldn't have built it. That it would have had it was like
because they didn't have the skills to like do very basic construction at all.
right.
Let
well,
alone
it was
make
just
like a
way
giant.
older than any of it.
Yeah.
Because that's what makes me think. I don't know. They could have. The temple could have been from that same like future, whatever point in the future the time temple is from.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah, because it's weird because it's future and past.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, how do you differentiate something that is aged backwards and something that is like aged traditionally?
Yeah, I think it was cool the way they did the scholar Sol Weintraub's daughter.
Oh yeah.
Where they introduced her first is just she's carrying around this baby, and you're like, what the heck? What is this guy doing? Like,
why would you bring a baby?
Yeah,
to this?
yeah. And he's just carrying her around, and then you learn that it's his daughter who dug
She's
up
like,
the
what,
time
like 30?
temple. Yeah. And then at night went to go do some night archaeology in the time temple, and then
You never
got
do night
blasted back.
archaeology.
Yeah. With nobody around, and then yeah. I mean, that's crazy. And so she's coming along to it. Have you started the second book yet, or no?
I have.
You have? Oh, my.
A little bit. I mean, I was pretty tired when I started it,
Yeah.
but I wanted to start it. And then I should have expected this because it's the way Dan Simmons wrote this book. It starts with a new character, and it's pretty cool. I believe he's on the Tau Ceti Covenant world, like the TC squared. They call it like the capital world, it seems like. There's a new guy, and he's talking about all I really read is like world building. They have a river that goes through Farcaster portals across different planets.
Interesting.
And what's cool is on the river they have one of the Maui Covenant islands that they've
taken from the planet.
Yeah, when they bastardized the world and
made it into a tourism spot.
Yeah,
that is crazy.
But because that's the thing, right? You read the ending of this book, and you don't know anything more than when you started it.
Really. You're like, yeah,
which is great.
The consul did the betrayal, and he's releasing the Shrike because he feels a certain way about.
He's mad.
Yeah, he's mad.
When the ousters are coming,
and but the ousters are kind of like made up. Well, they're not made up, but they don't really have a chance.
Right.
They're the
boogeyman.
At least that's how they're portrayed, is they don't have a chance, but that might just be homogeny propaganda.
Well, that's another interesting thing. Another interesting idea is they talk about. I don't remember. I think it was the consul. He talks about in his actual story, not the series story, how the ousters are the only humans in space that have actually
gotten
evolved.
away from the homogeny and evolved.
Yeah. And taken on like a new existence in their own way, and it's a sort of freedom they have, and then so the hegemony is coming after them because they're different.
Yes,
because they won't be part of the hegemony
because they are living like zero gravity and have longer arms and legs or something like that.
It's like alien humans, but they can't be controlled because they live in space.
They live on the outer reaches of the control and like asteroids or something, right?
So like asteroids, and I think he talks about like they had like a bubble thing in space that they like could like move around.
Yeah, something. I know it's when they did the Cassad's chapter of when he was doing all the military stuff and fighting, and he like took control of one of their like commando suits and was like fighting other ouster soldiers. I thought that was cool. I thought that was really cool. But I also thought it was interesting how when he was fighting with the Shrike didn't kill him or his girlfriend.
Right. Well, and
included them in their and she's aging backwards.
Is she the one? She's like part Shrike or something.
Yeah, it seems like she's like a Shrike priestess or something. It's kind of she's attracted to destruction or something because whenever he's in these war simulations, she always finds him afterwards for a little,
Yeah, well, there's a similar. Did you ever watch Doctor Who?
No, I haven't.
So I watched it years ago in high school, a long time ago. But they have a similar concept of the Doctor's wife they age in different directions.
Oh, wow.
She's also a time traveler.
She getting younger or older?
She's getting older.
Okay.
Well, I guess like the first time they meet is the first time he meets her is the last time she ever sees him.
Oh.
She knows everything about him. And then the next time he knows a little bit about her, but she knows a little bit less. Yeah, and so eventually it becomes, did we do this yet? Did this happen yet? Where are we?
Where they are.
Yeah. And it's interesting because we're rewatching it right now, which was weird timing.
Yeah.
It was just a coincidence. It was like,
Time.
oh yeah.
Similar themes.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure that they could have taken inspiration from this, and I don't know if I've seen that concept anywhere else.
I think it's an interesting thing when two people are, it's just how do their paths cross. It was similar to like the Rachel and her boyfriend's like paths, because he's still waiting for her dad to like fix her,
right.
But it's now been years and years and years, and he's grown into this older guy and she's grown into this baby.
Right.
So it's like it's a weirder version of that where they spent 5-10 years together, and now she's a baby and he's an adult man past like mid-age.
Yeah. She was like what, 12?
Yeah.
She had no idea who he was.
Exactly.
It's sad.
Yeah, I know, it's really sad. It's difficult. But then the soldier thing too, it's like the last time he sees her when they're fighting the Shrike is her first time seeing him.
Right.
So it's like, how does she, number one, get into the simulations that he's doing?
Yeah.
Like how is all these different parts? Because he's like at Gettysburg and he's at all these other like pivotal battles.
Like it was a battle between like the French and the English.
And there did a Roman battle. Yeah. In his military training.
Yeah. So that's why originally I think we talked about it a little bit. I thought she was going to be like an aspect of the Technocore. I don't think they'd even talked about the Technocore yet, but I was thinking he was being manipulated.
Oh yeah, because
like
you don't even
AI.
think back, but definitely, right?
Well,
Yeah. That makes sense.
They're trying to use him, so they're gonna get to him. They can only get to him in the simulations.
Yeah.
Because digital.
But then somehow she like implants herself in his brain or something. Because there is there's 3 layers to the book, to the worlds. There's the main world, that's the hegemony, and then there's the ousters who are like further out, but it's kind of their own existence. And then beneath it is the Technocore, which connects everything in the homogeny, but is a totally different.
They're pulling all the strings.
Yeah, they run everything.
I don't think they don't even know why.
Yeah,
they just do it because they can.
It reminds me of like when people say that humans are the main reproduction organs of wheat.
Oh.
You ever heard that before? That wheat is evolved along with us, and we have developed this thing that will grow, and it will be able to reproduce by like releasing seeds into the wind and being mixed around when we're traveling with it or whatever. That it's also allowed us to build civilization. But I think that's also the same thing with technology, where as we go along we're like spewing out like metallic parts and like putting things together that would never have existed before. So it kind of changes what you think when you think about the console's story on the Maui Covenant. What is it? Maui Covenant? Is that the planet?
Maui Covenant. Because they talk about they were, what's the word? Not pilgrims. They were refugees from Maui, the island in Hawaii. So that's why they named it Maui.
Yeah.
And then the Covenant part was, it was like a covenant that they took when they got there to
like not interact with the people,
like be there. I think it was like take care of each other and like to be a people.
Oh, to be a
I
people.
think is what
Okay.
it was. I don't quite remember.
Because did they crash land onto the planet, or was they were waiting for a rescue or something, or were they doing recreation? I think it was R&R.
I thought it was a colony.
But when the consul came, it was a colony.
Oh.
But when the consul came with his military group, right, and they were like on an island, they said, "Don't, mess with the island, like the people on the mainland. Stay away. Like we don't want to taint them. They're doing their own thing."
They were building the Farcaster.
Oh, they
space.
were building the Farcaster.
Yeah,
because
when they were on
that's
Earth.
What it was.
Yeah, you're right. Because I finished reading this recently, didn't I? It took me a while.
That's all right.
They were in space because it was his grandfather Wright was who the story was, and his grandfather was building it was like the power source. Or it was like the singularity drive, using like dark matter, which makes sense, obviously.
I would use.
That's what I would do. Yeah, I would build it in space too.
Yeah.
But that was it was their R&R time to go down to the island, and they could get some like boots on the ground,
hang out with your boys, barbecue, surf.
Yeah, breathe real air that hasn't been recycled 1,000 times.
That seems like a taken from a Vietnam novel as well, you know what I mean? Like,
we're building the communications relay up the hill.
Yeah, we're building our new fort.
Yeah.
And then we're going to go hang out with the locals.
Right.
Yeah.
Before the munitions get in.
And they don't have guns, and your friend shoots one of them, that's, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's really, it's the technocore that's driving that Farcaster portal being put there. That it has all the new because aren't they trying to like mine in the ocean?
Yeah.
Or something like
there was
that?
oil.
They're trying to extract oil.
Why do you need oil if you're so advanced?
If you
we need plastic.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of plastic.
You need plastic to build the spacesuits.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Yeah, so they need to go and take the oil, and they need to like disrupt the ecosystem that they've like colonized on this planet, and then, so they can build plastics for their electronic machines. So it's all kind of connected back to the technocore. But the ousters are also not, I'm pretty sure they're probably also connected to the technocore, right? They're in like these giant fighting suits that would, require...
Well, just the life support, They literally
That's the whole thing. Is nobody knows how to do anything.
Right. Right. They...
Nobody in the book knows how to, fly anything. Nobody knows how to control anything. Nobody knows really how to build a Farcaster portal, probably. It's just, instructions given to them or to a drone that they're controlling,
From the Technocore.
Yeah, from the Technocore.
So they figured it all out.
From the Technocore.
From new message, or what do they call them? New fat line from the...
new fat line.
The Technocore. We got to build a Farcaster portal as I don't know, some ocean planet. They got oil. All right,
oil. Wow.
Yeah.
Plastic.
Let's get out there. More plastic, more suits.
Yeah, that's good. I
thought it was interesting how, just a parallel to real life, how this guy is. What was his name? Do you remember his name?
Which
the
guy?
grandfather. The one who was building.
Oh no, I don't remember. I don't even remember the consul's name.
He for some reason I remember him having like a normal name. It was like Sam or something. I don't.
Yeah.
Know. But just the concept and like the parallel to real life where he's going to this far off planet that he's never heard of. They've never heard of where he's from. They don't. They don't know anything down there. He talks about that, but. For him, it's a few years, maybe 5 to 10 years of his life, and he's going to build this thing, and
he's going to pay a bunch.
Yeah, and then that's the thing, and then he's set for life. He maybe not him because we see him change, but these people in his position, because he's certainly not the only one there. They're getting paid a hefty sum, enough to be set for life apparently, to go spend 5 to 10 years doing a project that's going to wreck a planet, but then they get to move on because it's, just another, welcome to the system.
But the other part of it, of why they're getting paid so much, is that the travel takes 20 years every single time they're going back and forth or whatever. So they're getting paid that much because they're losing, every connection back that they had. Every person they know is going to be dead. It's right? That's what they're getting paid for.
Right.
Is the
time debt?
Yeah, the time debt.
I love that phrase in a sci. I mean, who knows? Maybe someday we'll get there.
Yeah.
Where we're traveling. I think that's the whole idea, right? Is that they're not faster than light, but it's pretty fast.
Yeah, I think the Farcaster portals are way faster than light.
Those are. Oh, well, yeah, because those are instantaneous.
Yeah, you would just walk through that guy.
Because those seem like wormholes.
Yeah.
To me, it's like
you create two different
rip in space time.
Yeah, and you can connect the two.
Yeah. But the time debt, the idea of nothing is free, and time is the greatest resource, unless you're Martin.
Well,
and
even
then who
he
cares?
screwed up because he was around when they were starting. Like, he was on old Earth.
Right.
And then something didn't he get, like, transferred? No, he was a slave that was half alive.
Yeah.
On a planet working.
His stroke.
Yeah, he had, like, he couldn't talk, he couldn't do anything. And then they, like, kept him alive as, like, this servant worker, and then he kind of moves on slowly up.
He's like, fuck, shit,
yeah.
piss.
It's like 4 words. Yeah. So that's all he could say. Yeah, I mean, he has the biggest debt.
Right.
Too, because he's removed the most from his original time.
Yeah.
Which you think, like, how does he survive against all the new bacterial infections?
Yeah.
Or, the Maui Covenant.
He's a petri dish.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. He should be dead.
But I'm sure they have something to, like, repair. Of course they do.
Right.
On that giant private spaceship the council has.
Like a cell rejuvenator.
Yeah.
They probably, like, shorten your, like, telomeres in your cells to make you age.
Yeah.
Shrink them down.
Shrink them down, get you a little plastic.
Yeah. We got Maui Covenant, fresh plastic coming in, don't worry about it.
Your face.
What was I just going to say about Martin?
Something about his origin story?
No, but I did really like that they talked about
Old Earth
a little bit.
It gives you a reference at least.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if they even mention, like, years in terms of, like, our year span. But at least, it gave you a connection to, like, okay, at least it grounds the world building on something that I can understand that, okay, these are people that are, like us.
Right.
Where it's, like, a little different when you look at something like Star Wars, where they never really reference Earth.
Right.
It
doesn't exist.
It's a long time ago, far, far away, isn't it?
Yeah, which doesn't make any sense.
Which it's past, so they came here and dropped us off or something.
Yeah, see ya. There's like a spin-off comic book. I think it's from like the 90s where Han and Chewie crash in South America.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's like, so Indiana Jones is a descendant of Han in this because it's like Han and Chewie investigating like an Aztec temple or something. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, cool.
There you go. There's a lot of old canon stuff that just, like they did the Wookiee Christmas special, which is canon. If you're really thinking about what's the source material that was coming out of George Lucas's head, that's like a whole episode of Wookiees celebrating Christmas.
No English.
Yeah, no English.
Just whatever, like
no
Wookiees.
Jesus.
Yeah,
but it's like always.
It's Life Day. That's
Life
what they call it.
Yeah,
Happy Life Day.
Life Day. At least they covered it up.
Yeah. But yeah, Old Earth. Well, because it's the same thing in Dune. I'm going to go back to Dune a bunch because I love.
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
love Dune. Have you finished it?
I finished Dune.
So they talk about like other memories and the not just the prescience into the future, but the seeing memories in the past. And Earth is a memory, but it's such a distant memory because I think Dune is like 10,000 years in our future.
Yeah.
Where this they talk about
it's like hundreds of years,
Hegira or Hegira. I don't know the term, but it's a real term. That's the other thing I like about the Kindles. You can highlight the words
and look it up.
They'll tell you what it is, and it's like I think it comes from like a Muslim or like a Middle Eastern term for like an Exodus. It's basically Exodus. So anytime they say, "Oh, well, that's a pre-Hegira
Hyperion or whatever,"
it's like, "Oh, that's before we left Earth."
There you go.
So it's
post-Hyperion.
Yeah, and it's just a few. I mean, it's a few hundred years because Martin's still kicking, and he's like 500-600 or whatever. He is. But
it's a lot different than like Star Trek, where it's thousands of years in the future. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But they come back on Earth and everyone's driving F-150s and it's
nothing's really changed.
We're going to alien school.
Everything's great.
Yeah, and it's a totally different, way to look at how things compare, how people connect to the story.
Yeah.
When you have something that's unconnected, something that's exactly what it is today, or something where like these two books where they've left it in the past and they've gone on, you can almost like think about like how the author was thinking, I want to write a story about 10,000 years in the future.
Right.
And then you start thinking, and you're like, oh, spice. You know, whatever. Everybody wants this resource on this planet, and then that's like writes its own story almost. You know? And there's people on the planet that are like, you know, trying to be enslaved by the hegemony, essentially, you know, to get the resource.
They'll do whatever they can
Yeah.
to, either to get it or to keep them away from getting it. But then at the same time, like Dune might as well be Star Wars. You don't really need Earth to exist, and this is like a super Earth-centric book in a way because I mean John Keats. I didn't know anything about. Did you know?
I heard the name, but I didn't know anything.
I didn't know anything about him. But it's interesting how like obsessive this author is about poetry.
He's like, he's the best poet.
John Keats. He was like 24, died of tuberculosis. Like, okay, this guy's pretty. He's not you know the most fascinating person. But he's interesting.
But the author loves him.
Yeah. Loves him.
You named a whole city after him.
A city.
He has an AI cyborg came back to life.
Yeah. Like, the Hyperion. That's what Hyperion was the name of like John Keats's famous poem.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's where it comes from. I mean, Hyperion was like a titan in like Greek mythology, but it was
based off of that.
Poem.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's good background. Nice job on the research, Max.
Oh, I'm a big research guy. Because there's, I read lots of stuff, especially when you start talking about John Keats and like his stay in Italy, and you know, because that's what I'm thinking is, what's the big deal with John Keats?
It's got to have some sort of connection.
It could have been Edgar Allan Poe. You could have done a whole thing.
Yeah,
and everybody knows who that guy is. I mean, like if you're trying to sell a book, you know, or if you just love writing, you know,
it's hard to sometimes, I think, know exactly what world he was writing the book in, because I've been reading a lot of how-to writing books, because there's a lot of them that exist, so I'm just trying to read as many as I can as I write, and a lot of them are like, oh, you just submit a short story to your favorite magazine.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you get published by your college magazine, then you get published by your favorite, you know, Esquire or Playboy or whatever kind of thing you're trying to write, and then you build up enough you know, magazine stories that you've written that you take it to a publisher, and they say, oh, you can write, you've been in all these different things, we'll give you a contract to write a book. But it's just so much different now because I have not read a magazine that has like short stories in it, I think, since I was like 10 years old reading the Boy Scout magazine. You know, there's not a thing that anybody does to like find new authors in that way, so it's very different, where I'm sure people, like every time you go on your phone today, essentially to do the same thing, somebody would be reading a newspaper or reading a book.
Right.
So you can't like escape the big names of poetry if you're reading anything that's referencing, you know, modern or past culture.
Right. And nobody cares.
Who
cares?
Exactly.
I don't know that, like it is cool stuff. That's the thing. You
have to read the old stuff to get the references.
The effort into it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Keats.
Like I knew he was like philosopher, poems guy, you know. Yeah. But I didn't know that much about him. But that's good.
Probably a little moody. But yeah.
Well, there's a lot of Earth stuff that they bring back, like the whole other Earth that they've created. Mm-hmm. That's like a fake Earth planet that
the
they
humans don't know
copied. About. Yeah, just the Technicore runs just to do some old experiments.
They don't give a shit about it. That's what makes the Technicore so interesting, right? Okay, we're going to build a full-scale model of the planet that our creators came from. They don't need to know about it. We're also not going to really do anything with it when
we're
going to
model each civilization after its greatest time, right? So it's like ancient Italy, right, next to, like, whatever.
It's like modern-day New York.
Yeah.
And then
well, you knew
it was
New
like
York.
Paris. It was like 17th, 18th century Paris or something.
Yeah, something
like Versailles.
Yeah. It's such a crazy thing, and they have people living there, right? Or is it empty?
No, I think it's empty. I think they I think it was kind of like a playground. Well, not a playground. Like I almost want to say zoo.
Zoo.
You know,
that's better
for the cybrids, because the idea was to immerse the cybrids
in their world they came from.
Their personas, like time and place.
So John Keats was from Italy. That's what you were saying?
He was American.
There?
Yeah,
that's what I thought. He was American.
He was like exiled to Italy. I think it had something to do with I don't think it was because he had tuberculosis, but it was like he was dying and he had tuberculosis and he had to like get out.
Yeah.
So he's like, he just went to Italy with his friend, and then his friend, you know, helped him while he
was dying.
Basically. He's
Yeah.
like in hospice.
Yeah.
in Italy.
Yeah.
Trying to write poetry.
Write poetry.
Because
yeah.
that's all you got.
It's interesting that he died when he was 24 too, because there's such a different range of like young people, like, you know, around our age. So
right.
In the working book that I'm reading now, he was interviewing this 24-year-old office worker who he was flitting, you know, between jobs, and he's kind of like not really working right now, but he used to be a copy boy, so he'd just run copies of the newspaper to like all over this gigantic, you know, building, or take orders from people and do different stuff. But he like didn't want to wear shoes. He wanted to wear like old ripped up clothes. He wanted to grow his hair long because he was like a hippie-ish guy, but he also talks about like wanting to shoot up the building, wanting to kill his boss, like really like heavy, hardcore, violent stuff.
Interesting.
But it's like his parents paid for his college, they're doing this, they're helping him out.
Yeah.
And he didn't go to Vietnam because he was like a sophomore in college, and so he was able to like, you know, conscientiously object from the draft, but really he's just at college.
Yeah.
And so it's like he has this weird mind that's all mixed up on all this different stuff. And then after that, he was like 26. Then after that, they interviewed someone who was 24 and was like working through like a systematic like office job. And so he's a manager. He has 5 people under him. He has a wife. It's like he's very like, you just need to focus and you need to go forward and you need to build yourself up so you can eventually be somewhere. And it's like a very different tone of, you know, I don't know if that guy's
like
considered
personality.
Yeah, it's like that guy's way more comfortable with himself, and he's living probably a way better life, honestly, than the other guy.
Well, yeah.
Like, all he does is conflict, and it's like, he can't, you know, there's nothing else that comes other than, like, challenging. And he wants to hand out organic almonds and organic pistachios at the workplace, you know? And he's getting yelled at because he like, was trying to sit in front of, like, the head librarian's desk, because it's, you know, all paper back then, so there's a librarian that manages their collection of whatever written works, I guess. And he's sitting barefoot in front of this guy's desk, and they're asking him, "Are you meditating?" He's like, "I don't know if I'm meditating," you know. And he's like getting yelled at and getting told to get out of the way, and if he does it again, he's gonna get fired. And then it's like they're just 2 stories right next to each other where it's so intense.
Yeah.
Because he like couldn't stay on track either when he was talking. He would just go way off to the side, and he's like, "You were telling me about your shoes," and then he goes right back to the shoes, and he goes way off the other way, and he comes back to the shoes.
Just completely unorganized.
Yeah. And he's like using the N-word, and he's like but he's like this sort of super progressive, idealistic guy.
Interesting.
But he's also very violent. It was a really weird character.
Sounds like he's got some issues.
Yeah, he's got a lot of issues. Yeah.
Which, yeah, and that's interesting.
Yeah, it's a good book. It's called Working. It's by Studs Terkel. I think he wrote for the Chicago Tribune. He had like a column for a while.
Interesting.
Yeah, and he was a big radio announcer guy. My grandpa told me about him.
That's cool.
Yeah, he has this book and another book I want to read he wrote called Chicago, which is just about apparently the vibe of Chicago. And it's like everybody like has murders, everybody has businessmen, everybody has mobsters, but nobody does it like Chicago. That's like the tagline for the book.
That's not wrong. I mean,
yeah.
I love you know, hearing people say like, "Oh, why would you go downtown and be like, oh, I'm going to Chicago this weekend. We're going to like XYZ restaurant. Oh, why would you go there?
You're risking your life.
You're risking your life. It's dangerous." It's like, well, if you're from around here,
yeah,
you know where to go.
Well,
it's a good time.
There's a similar thing that happens in, like, during the winter in Florida, the weather announcer will make all the northern weather seem way worse than it is. Like, New York's having, like, a storm of a century. Like, they're getting, 10 feet of snow in Milwaukee or whatever it is across. Everybody's having snow because they want everybody in the state to be like, oh, I'm glad I'm not there. It's like this subconscious thing that they do.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So, it's a similar thing I think of. Trying to make the people you're around be like, if you're in the Chicago suburbs, they want to scare you a little bit so that you make sure you pay for your police. They want to make sure that you pay for your, security. Maybe we want to go to a gated community, or something.
Yeah.
Right?
Charge a little premium for that security.
Yeah, where it's like anywhere you go. Like Milwaukee is where lived last year and the last 5 years before that, it's not a great place for safety,
right?
You know.
Oh yeah, my brother lives in Green Bay, and I went to go visit him one time.
Mm-hmm.
I had to get gas in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Right off the highway, pull up to this gas station. Nobody was buying gas.
Yeah.
They were hanging out.
Yeah, they hang out.
I know what's going on at this gas station. I'm gonna find a
Yeah.
different gas station. That like 2 blocks over, there's one across the street from a police station.
Yeah.
Empty.
Well, it's like when you're going that way, you really got to get off before you hit Milwaukee, because it's like literally 40 cents less outside of the city.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's smart.
Yeah.
If I was smart, I would have done that.
Yeah, I drive up every 2 weeks for work to Milwaukee.
Nice.
So I know like kind of when to get off and
spots.
fill up. And then for 2 weeks, I try to use that tank of gas until I go back up and refill.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's nice. I'm glad we moved back, though.
Yeah.
Because we lived in Milwaukee, and then we moved to Port Washington,
Okay.
which is like 20 minutes north of Milwaukee.
Okay.
And it's very idyllic. Like, when you go to the city, you're like, whoa. Because it's, you know, it's not flat. There's, like, terraces of, like, houses that overlook the lake and this big harbor and this tiny little downtown street with, like, a butcher shop and a bakery and 2 coffee shops. And there's, like, no Starbucks in the town.
Oh.
And it's just totally crazy, and everything is like somewhat affordable for housing, and there's big yachts people from like Milwaukee keep in that harbor, so it looks like affluent and nice and, you know, very cool. But everybody there was just like over 60 years old. Huh? And so it's like
that's what happens.
Yeah, I know, but it's like this cool crazy place, but there's no work.
Yeah.
You know, like to find people our age, you had to go 30 minutes west.
Yeah.
To like West Bend, where there's like, okay, there's some factories and some like manufacturing stuff, and people are doing, and there's, you know, 30,000 people instead of 10,000.
Right.
So yeah, it's like, it was just crazy.
So you're gonna commute.
Yeah, you're going to commute. Yeah, everybody who lives there and
It's
works.
Like the opposite
leaves.
of the reason people move to the city.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So now that we're back here, it's just there's 150,000 people in Naperville. It's like 15 times the size of where we just were. And it's like we door dashed some stuff yesterday, like seltzer waters and ice cream. Mm-hmm. And it was like less than 30 minutes here at the door. I didn't get a text asking about, what flavor. I can't find it. They came like straight from the store to here. It was at like 11 p.m.
Yeah.
That like nobody worked past 10 p.m. Like you couldn't get a driver because all the stores closed at 9. Except for Taco Bell was open until like 11, 10:30. But that was literally the only place around. So it's much different being here. It's like you're back in civil. Everybody drives faster. The roads are faster. It's like
fibs.
Yeah.
Fibs everywhere.
Yeah, fibs everywhere up there. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why. Yeah, we like. We'll have to have you guys over to our place sometime. Next time we do a game night. That one night only Philippe made it. We didn't play like Mario Golf.
Yeah.
I was like, you don't want to just like go home and we could play Dota or something. I don't really know what we're doing.
Yeah.
But,
we had one game night, I think, the first week we came.
Yeah.
And it was pretty good. I think Noah, Mikey, and Philippe came. And it was good. We played Mario Party.
Nice.
And then played Co-op. What is it called?
Oh, Coup?
Coup.
Yeah. Mikey's brought that over a few times.
I couldn't get that game.
That game's...
I think I just drank a little too much, and it was like, we got you! And you got a lot, yeah.
You gotta be ready to lie. That's why...
yeah.
That it's like that, and... Because it's made by the same people as Resistance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you remember... You played
yeah, I think
that,
I played it, yeah.
It's like you make like the teams. It's kind of like Town of Salem.
Yeah.
You just gotta be ready
to lie and get yourself out of there.
People in the bus.
Yeah.
I swear it was him.
Yeah. Yeah, we got to do a game night sometime soon.
Yeah. That's what because Josh was talking about Friday, right? I work Friday. I work Friday nights. That's
nice.
Restaurant manager.
Restaurant manager.
Work the worst days.
Yeah.
My days off are today and Mondays. Thursdays and Mondays.
Yeah,
really
that's
good.
rough.
So we just gotta figure it out.
Yeah.
Maybe like Saturday nights sometimes because I'll work late Saturdays.
But you're off next Monday?
Early Sunday or Saturdays, yeah.
Then that's Labor Day. Everybody should probably be off.
Hey,
right?
We like that. Yeah, because I don't work till 10 on Tuesdays.
Okay.
That's the thing. My schedule's weird, but it's consistent.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Well, that's nice.
And this, like you said, like 10 minutes down the road.
Yeah, I know. It's been so
Super
close.
easy
It's
to
like
get
we
here.
should be hanging out more often.
We should. It's, I'm right by the mall. So I don't know if you know the mall on 88.
Well, I know like where Noah's parents live.
Oh, yeah.
And so you're right there
I'm
in
across
those
the street.
Yeah. Yeah.
We walked to Noah's parents.
Really? Wow. I
Yeah.
can never have some dinner.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It's cool. Yeah, it's a lot nicer here though. It's very Aurora. Not the nice parts. Of
Yeah.
Aurora.
No,
That's
I know.
why it's cheap.
That's right. Yeah, it's good. It's affordable.
It's safe. It's just
I
not
know.
clean.
Yeah, that's the hard part. Is like nothing around here is affordable. So we're like, we'll rent another year, save
Yeah.
up some more money, and then hopefully try to buy. But it hurts when you're renting because you're like, here's some money, guy.
Right.
This other guy that
then your
really
furnace
doesn't do
breaks.
much. Yeah,
It was like our furnace broke. It's like $14,000.
$14,000
Or
1,400.
Maybe it was 14. I don't know. It was a few years ago. Maybe it was 1,400. It was
That
12.
makes more sense. I don't know,
1,200 for
14.
my deck. 1,400 for my furnace.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about renting. You don't get that stuff.
Yeah.
But every month you're giving them like thousands of dollars for rent,
That's the thing.
and it's a 2-bedroom with 1 bathroom. It's like we're not, balling out.
Yeah, well, that's why someday I'm hoping to be able to afford to rent our place out.
Oh,
Hopefully.
sneaky.
Because it's about this size.
Yeah.
Actually, yours is. I think it's about the same size. Just like you guys have a bigger kitchen and we have like a slightly bigger
Living area.
But you guys don't have do you have an upstairs?
No.
Oh, okay. I couldn't tell.
Yeah, there's somebody who lives up there.
That's what I have a buddy who has a place like this, but he has an upstairs too. And I'm so jealous.
Yeah.
Of an upstairs, but
Our last place was just upstairs.
nice.
It was like this, but just above a garage in somebody else's house.
Stomping
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
That's why. Yeah, we're on the 3rd floor.
Oh, there
so
you
we
go.
don't have anybody
Anybody
stomping
above.
up. But
We have they like drop some stuff sometimes, like dun, 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 But I feel like nice to have my feet on the floor. I haven't like lived in a ground floor place in a while.
yeah,
I feel like there's good energy.
you get a good breeze. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming over.
I was gonna say we all
Wrap
wrap
it
it
up.
topic.
Yeah,
But
that's
that's
okay.
alright.
That's why we do it,
It
right?
was a good book.
Yeah, good book.
That's what I liked it.
And that's Petunia.
Hi, dude, your cats are so pretty. I know. I see her just.
She likes to freak out, but she's nice usually. All right. Let's see if this recorded.
Like,
Yep. Cut off.